And hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are in another Minecraft map. We're playing Panic at the Parkour. Now, going into this, I don't really know anything about this map besides it's supposed to be difficult and it looks massive. What the? Where am I? Oh, it's just that we were looking up the wrong way. So yeah, if it's as difficult as the map creator claimed, then it's probably going to take a bit for me to complete, so I don't know if we'll be able to do in one video. Am I? How am I supposed to get in? It's already quite embarrassing. Jump up there. Like, they blocked off the quote-unquote entrance. And now I'm confused. I really did not make this one clear. Maybe I have to just walk. Oh, yeah, we can just walk in. That is trippy beyond all belief. Okay, but that's kind of cool. Just a bit confusing because I don't see stuff like that often. Up we go. Okay. Hereby Yokameister, Stimister, and Nicocolas. Hope I said all those correctly. And now we go. Okay. This already looks quite interesting. I'm getting a bit of lag spikes. Which is strange, but okay, whatever. Cool. So far, I mean, not quite as difficult as advertised, but I wouldn't expect it to start out super difficult anyway. So I'm just gonna presume that the difficulty is gonna pick up as it goes on, mostly just off of the fact that it was advertised as super difficult. And I find that most of the time when map creators say that a map is super difficult, it's pretty rare that it's not super difficult. It's also pretty rare if a map creator says that a map's super easy, that it isn't super difficult. Like, pretty much any map that comments on the difficulty with something aside from it's a normal difficulty map, most of the time it's pretty difficult. But a lot of times what happens with like maps that say they're easy is the entire point is they're not easy, but it's like, oh, easiest Minecraft parkour map ever, and then it's, you know, actually difficult. Haha, very funny sort of ordeal. I guess through here. Yeah, there we go. Easy enough. So this map looks really cool. Like, all other things aside, I don't know how the parkour is going to be, you know, throughout it, so I can't comment too much on that yet. But, like, so far, just appearance-wise, this map looks really good. Yeah. Also, these jumps are a bit cursed. I think I'm going to have to actually take them slower. I can't just momentum these. Kind of stinks. Oh, that's awkward. The only thing is, like, it feels weird doing a parkour map that's, like, situated in just what looks like a normal world. Like, there's something really trippy about that. Like, I kind of like it, but it's also kind of weird. Like, it feels like I could almost just go switch my game mode to survival and just start playing survival, which isn't normal for parkour maps. Why am I struggling with this jump so much now? I failed it a couple times and I get to my head, apparently. Oh, there's a hit on this side. Sort of parkour, like, I don't know. It's always weird to me, because it feels a lot of times like the jumps aren't all that crazy difficult, but they're definitely not easy. Oh, I just didn't jump. However, sad. I was hoping that I could cheat my way up. Yeah, like typically, like a single one of these jumps. If I'm focusing on this and actually looking at stuff, I keep hitting the corner of that block and not hitting the corner of blocks. Like typically the jumps aren't all that super difficult. Like these aren't crazy difficult jumps. It's just they're put into an environment where it's weird for normal parkour and can kind of throw you off. Especially when utilizing stuff like glass panes, especially. So, like, very interesting, to say the least. Oh. So far, I'm actually really liking this map, though. I feel like this is the sort of map, though, that could throw one level at me that could kind of ruin the entire experience. Like, I forget what the name of the map was. It was like 3 by 15 or something. I forget what the numbers exactly were, but I think it was 3 by 15. Whereas, like, yeah, the entire map leading up to the last level was fine. Like, even the... Like, at the time, the double Neo gave me trouble just... Whoa. Because I hadn't done one before. So, I wasn't used to them. But... if I had done double Neos before, it wouldn't have given me a problem. So, like, overall, the map as a whole was not super difficult and it was pretty fun. But just that last singular level that took me, like... I forget how long it was, but it was, like, 2 hours to complete. And it took so long mostly because I let it get in my head. I think in the actual video, too, I think I ended up ending off the video without completing it. Or I think I might have cheated past it or something. I don't remember. I might have completed it. But, at the time. But I do know that I went through and played the map again and actually beat it. Oh, I keep hitting my head on that. I keep forgetting that there's a block up there. But yeah, like, this is totally the sort of map where it's like, you know, the main difficulty comes from just the fact that it's a lot of sort of stuff that you don't do often. Like, it's kind of rare to be jumping on slime blocks and then making it through a gap with iron trap doors on one side. But it's not super difficult to do that. It's just not something you'd normally do. But once you get a feel for it, you can go through and complete it easy enough. Oh. Okay, caught it. Oh, I was holding against it. That's annoying. Okay, I think I know what I need to do for this one. I think so. Like, obviously, I need to come around and hit that jump. But I think for this stretch where you have to go along the single ones, you want to, like, here, let's see if I can actually get on it this time. You want to come up here, you want to crouch so that you stay at the same level, and then not lean against that so you don't end up on there. So then that way you can uncrouch and actually sprint. Maybe? Didn't even let me sprint, even though I was uncrouched. Might have still treated me like I was crouched or something? Oh. Hard to say. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My sister came in. Let's go. I was able to just practice this a couple times while she was there, though, and I did make it. So now it's just a matter of repeating said feat. Just something kind of annoying about the fact that, of course, I complete it while I'm not actually recording. So I had to talk to my sister for a second. Okay. It's difficult. Like, I gotta get into a position where I can sprint around the corner. Because if we're not sprinting around the corner, I don't think you can actually make that jump. Okay. The timing on this is so tight. Like, this gap here is such a problem. Can I make it past this without actually, like, crouching? If I could, it would make my life so much easier. Yeah, there we go. Now we just make it around here. And there we go. We have made it. Now from here, I'm guessing we move on to this. But yeah, so far this map's giving me vibes really similar to like maps that take after, what's the name? MCC's Parkour. Like where it's just very not normal parkour, and they use a lot of stuff like glass panes to try to shake it up as much as possible to not make it feel like normal parkour, which I don't mind as an occasional thing. I don't like doing maps like this frequently just because, I don't know, as I said, it doesn't really feel like normal parkour. So like it can be fun as kind of a like once in a while sort of thing, but for a frequent, you know, like, oh, this is the sort of parkour I play, it can get a bit annoying, especially since some of the jumps like feel very luck based, even though they're not. Like pretty much any of these jumps you can learn to do properly, and there's a proper way of doing them, but because it's not the sort of jumps that come up frequently in normal parkour, it kind of gives a feel of like, oh, well, you made the jump off of luck, not off of skill, because a lot of times, you know, the first time you make one of these jumps, it will be because of that. So then as a result, it doesn't feel like quite as much like, oh yes, I did it. It's a bit more like, oh yes, I finally got lucky on a jump, which just isn't as satisfying to me. Whereas with normal parkour, there's a bit more of a feel of like, oh yeah, I finally did the jump. I finally, you know, learned how to do it properly, and I've done it. You know, there's a bit more of that, I feel like. Oh, I missed that jump. That stinks so much. Okay. This first jump is obnoxious. And there's some of like, you know, I'm doing better at this than I have done at some of these sort of maps in the past. But once again, I don't know like if it's gonna pop up a crazy level on us at some point that I'm gonna struggle with insanely. I might break this one into multiple parts just because it's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, I don't really have time to go super far past half an hour recording right now. So like, if it takes that long, then I might split this map into 2 parts if it doesn't feel like I'm near the end. The only problem is I have had times with maps where it's like, you know, I feel like it's taking too long. I'm like, alright, I'll come back to this one. And then either I never do, or sometimes what'll happen is I will come back, but I'll record it and then reach the end in like 5 minutes. And then there's kind of like a, well, guess I'm not posting that. Come on. Oh. If I had hit the corner, but I hit the edge of the actual head block. I think I jumped off of the glass pane pretty much as well as I could have asked for. I just hit the wrong spot of the head on the bottom. Because you gotta, for those side jumps, you gotta hit the corners. It's also interesting. Like, I find that with parkour, it's one of those things that, like, people get kind of annoyed if you talk about it in depth. Like, if you start talking about, you know, like, hitting the proper corners and stuff like that that go into parkouring properly, like, at least in my experience, whenever I talk to people about it. Like, they kind of tend to get a bit annoyed with, you know, the more complex parts of parkour. Even if they want to know how to do it, they still are annoyed by you explaining how to do it to them. Oh, I didn't need to put that down. And I don't know if it's just like a sort of deal of like, oh yeah, I'm not really all that interested in parkour. Like, I kind of asked more out of, you know, not having anything to talk about sort of deal. Or if it is a, like, you know, people don't expect it to be as in-depth as it is. Because from watching other people do it, it feels like a, you know, just a deal where it's like, oh yeah, I jump from block to block, and that's the entire story of what I do, and that's it. There's legit nothing more to it. I think that's how it looks to a lot of people. So they expect that to be the answer when they ask, you know, what goes into parkour. It's just like, oh, yeah, I do it a lot. And that's all there is to it. They don't expect there to be a bit more of like a, you know, like, yeah, you have to learn to, you know, hit the right corners and, you know, like there are different areas of parkour that you can be really good at one and not good at the other. Like, you might be really good at taking the proper angles of jumps, but then have a reaction time that, or not a reaction time, but fail to jump onto the edge of the blocks when you're jumping off of them, making it difficult to, you know, properly make jumps sometimes, but at the same time you can be decent just because you manage to jump from corner to corner, even if you do jump early a lot. And people just, I don't think, expect there to be so much that goes into the thought for it. But that's kind of how anything goes that is taken to any form of extreme. Like, because there are multiple, like, things to learn for even a lot of really basic things in the world. And I think people forget that a lot of times. But, yeah, at least that's my opinion. But yeah, like, I remember a time I was playing with Blazer. I think it might have even been recorded. We were doing some parkour related thing. And, like, I beat a jump, and he wasn't able to get past it. So he was like, how do you make the jump? And I started explaining to him that, like, yeah, since it's a sideways jump and it goes really far, not only do you have to jump on the very edge of the block, you also have to make sure that your cursor's lined up before you take the jump to make sure that you're going at the right angle for such a difficult jump. And then him and, I think, Manta proceeded to make jokes about it for the next, like, 2 weeks. And, like, I still think it's kind of funny to this day that after they asked me how to make the jump, that they started making fun of me for explaining to them how you make the jump. But I also think part of it, like, I'm not blaming them in any way, but I think part of it is just a matter of, like, when something that in your experience has been really simple, and then you get an explanation on how to do something that takes a lot more factors into consideration, there's kind of some degree of, like, you know, like, oh, you're taking something that's actually simple and, you know, making it much more complex than you need to be. So then there's something, like, kind of, I guess, funny about that or something. But yeah, like as I said, I don't hold any grievances about it. It's just something that stood out to me. Ooh, okay. It would really stink to fall here. That would be heartbreaking. Whew, okay, we're good. I would have been stinking mad if I fell, like, on the jump before, instead of this jump here that I'm now falling on. A lot. Maybe I should take my own advice and actually jump for the corner of this block. I will say, I do kind of like jumps that require, like, going around things like these. I think they're fun to, like, have to go around the corner as tight as possible without falling or hitting the corner. Like, I think there's something really interesting about the sort of jumps. I'm struggling with this one just because, yes. But, yeah, because, like, if you take it too tight, you hit the corner of the wall. If you don't take it tight enough, then you end up falling. And it kind of creates an interesting balance, in my opinion. Although I'm continuously falling now. Just because I'm not jumping in time. But that's also kind of what I was talking about. Like, one of the things that I'm probably worse at is having the proper timing for jumping off of blocks. Like, I tend to, on more difficult jumps where I'm thinking about it too hard, I tend to jump too late. And then if I'm overcompensating for that, I tend to jump too early a lot. And it creates a weird balance. But, yeah. How long is the recording done? 22 minutes? Okay. Yeah. I still think we might have time to finish this, depending on how much longer it is. I don't know how much longer this actually goes. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if I, like, end off the recording and then get time, like, later today or tomorrow or something to record again and find out that I was, like, right on the edge. Ooh, interesting. Looks like what they want me to do is jump there into there. I kind of want to jump over here and just take a look. I don't know about this. Okay. Whatever, let's give it a shot. Ah! Man, I knew I was going to be disappointed if I failed that. Because it puts me so far back. Although, I guess, in all reality, it's not that many jumps back. It's just quite a few, like, fairly difficult jumps back. Which always stinks to get pulled back on. But it already looks like we're pretty much back. Yeah. I wish this went the other way. I could have cheesed it so easily. Oh well. Ah, I took it too tight that time. Ah, man. Okay. And, like, I bet there's other factors of parkour, too, that I haven't taken into consideration here that are very important areas to make sure you're doing properly. And I think it's stuff that can be good to know when you're first starting out on parkour. Because there's some degree of idea, like, especially that I had when I first started, that the only important factor of parkour was jumping at the edge of a block. Like, my idea was basically like, hey, you know, even if I don't have momentum, even if I don't have whatever not, as long as I jump on the very edge of the block, I'll make up for whatever it is. So I just have to learn to jump on the edge and I'm good. Except for, sadly, that's not the case. And, like, when I first started, like, even though, like, I learned to force momentum, and then I kind of just didn't want to do it, because there was some sort of, like, mindset that I had of, like, you know, if I just learn to jump on the edge of the block really well, like, always at the moment I jump, be at the very edge of the block, you know, then I'll be good at parkour, and I'll be able to do these jumps that, you know, these cool parkour YouTubers are doing without, but without even having to momentum it. And then I'll be better, and I'll be cool and whatnot. Little did I know that, yeah, no, people force momentum stuff because you have to force momentum stuff. I really, really wish I could cheese this. So badly. Still like that bit of hope in my heart that I could cheese it somehow. Ooh. Way too much momentum going there. Wonder if this side's built where you could go up it. Ah, not quite. Wait! Oh, look at that! That's awfully convenient. I think that's probably one of this map's weaknesses. I think I did it on another level too, where it's like, yeah, there's a ways to get past some of this stuff without taking the proper path. Which, from a map creation standpoint, is, you know, kind of, I guess, a quote-unquote failure? Not really, but just kind of isn't ideal. I don't know. It just says up. Or does it mean like over here? Let me go from here. Or something. I don't know. Maybe there's just some way up throughout all this mess. And we have to, like, pathfind our way up. Or something. Doesn't look like it. Looks like there's actual, like, parkour. Oh, wait. I think I can probably go here? No? From over here, I can't jump to that because I get blocked. There's a sign pointing over here, but I don't see any way to actually go up. What? Where in the world am I supposed to actually go? I'm so confused. There should be like a way down instead. And it's all just messing with me. Oh, I actually thought I found something for a second. Disappointment. That is all I've located. I'm honestly legitimately confused where I'm supposed to go. Because this sign points to over here. But there's nothing that I can get to from this. Over here, another dead end. I don't even know what I'd be doing over here at this point. Like, I see the parkour above. There's a ladder there. So that makes me think that I have to get up there somehow. Oh, wait, this goes up half a block. Oh. There's nowhere I can even reach from up here. That's awkward. And disappointing. What? Am I stupid? Is there like a really obvious way that I'm just like completely missing? No like walls or anything I can climb onto here. This just kind of says up. Huh. I might actually be stuck. I think I got stuck. Oh wait, maybe I can look out here. No. Okay, I think I can't get out. Just gotta go that. Yeah. Okay, clearly not back there. It just kind of says to go up here. And it's pretty clear that I need to go up to there. It doesn't look like I could do anything from there. There's all of these iron trap doors which look right. Oh, wait, there's an iron trap door here that I can take to start. I'm so stupid. These blend into the wall too, which is annoying. Okay, I get it now. Everything makes so much more sense. But yeah, although this map's kind of, I've talked about the idea of this sort of map in the first place, where it's like, yeah, it's really, like, it's cool parkour and all, but like, the main focus is clearly on the scenery and making everything look nice. And like, I kind of like these sort of parkours for an occasional thing. Like, I also like the style too, like the everything parkour maps where you're just kind of in the void and all there is parkour. Like, there is no decorations. I feel like it's best to shoot for one of the two most of the time. Like, either focus on making your map look nice and let the parkour kind of take the back burner, or focus on the parkour and let the map looking nice focus on the back burner. I think that's typically the best way to do it. Like, there's some exceptions. Like, there are some maps that look nice and also have great parkour. But I find for the most part, the maps that focus, that allocate the resource somewhere or the other, end up better and released in, like, more prompt fashion. At least that's my experience. And granted, as for the actual like releasing of the maps, like, I'm not a map creator. I'm not, like, you know, super in tune with what it takes to create a map. Like, I've talked about this in previous maps, where like I've kind of, you know, like in some way or another, mentioned stuff about the way they went about stuff with command blocks and stuff that ultimately I don't know what it takes to make a map, which is why I try not to be too judgmental about any like clear map creation decisions, even if I kind of disagree with them, that are like more on the technical side of things. I don't know how you're supposed to make that. That is so obnoxious. And it's so annoying to get there in the first place. But anyway, guys, as I mentioned, kind of had to, you know, wrap it up. But, yeah, if there's enough map left, and I'm feeling up to it, we'll come back to this one. This map was a lot of fun. I mean, as I mentioned, it's kind of got that sort of feel where it's like, it's kind of different parkour, and it's also the sort of feel where if there's one level that like is annoying enough, then it can offset the entire experience and kind of ruin the entire thing for me. So from that standpoint, I feel like these sort of maps struggle, just because if you do any like poor job on a single level, it can kind of ruin the entire experience. So yeah, there's some of that. But, anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye-bye.